And it's a parasite. Of course it's a parasite. It's always parasites. What am I thinking? And just casually clean up that explosion. And oh gosh, wait. What's that? Okay, why is a wooden sword hitting me? You know what? Please tell me we're not getting back to a wooden sword. Please. No. Okay, we didn't. Thank goodness. Where in the world did these guys come from? Did they just jump out of the ceiling or something? What in the world? Hello everyone and welcome back to my playthrough of Scape and Run Parasites. Now if you watched episode 1, you might be wondering why in the world I'm building a new base when I already had a perfectly fine one in a different location. Well, the answer to that would be I found some potential new security systems, but they're only going to work if I have a base that's exposed to the air like a base normally would be instead of in a hole somewhere underground. Now, the original intent that I had for this episode was to get the last little bit of remaining prep work that I needed to do to prepare for the oncoming phases of Parasites, but as you'll see in a second, we kind of went off on a tangent, so we didn't actually get that much done in terms of prep work besides building the base itself. So here's the walls completely finished. I think they look pretty nice so far, and now we can actually build a nice looking base above ground instead of in a hole in the middle of nowhere buried into a mountainside. So yeah. The original security system that I tested was the intelligent munition system from SecurityCraft, and as you'll see in a moment, that didn't work so well. It ended up blowing up my wall that I just spent like 30 minutes on building. So that was that. Luckily, I did have a backup plan in the sentries that are also from SecurityCraft, and these worked really well. So you see all these iron block things that I have scattered around? Well, these little robot guys, they come out of there and they basically shoot things and they don't actually require ammo, so they're great. I also decided to plant some sugarcane, and looking back, I am not entirely sure why I did this, because I can get an infinite amount of sugarcane simply by using my transmutation table, but whatever, I guess it's cool and looks good. So there was also this giant white brick structure like right next to my base that I wanted to go overhead to, so I started bridging over with some slabs. And I think the bridge that I ended up building actually looks pretty nice, if I do say so myself. I ended up changing the position of the sentries on it, but other than that, I don't really make any major changes to it ever again. When I actually got to the building itself, I realized it was from the SCP Lockdown mod, which was honestly a mod that I kind of forgot that I threw in there. I basically just saw, oh, new mobs, cool, let's add it for content, and completely forgot that I added it at all. So I actually don't know anything that's in here, which is not good. I got attacked by a bunch of these little velociraptor things, and they were doing a lot of damage, so I decided that I needed to get some better weapons if I was going to clear out this place. So that's exactly what I did, and I had the perfect weapons in mind. But first I needed to make at least some sort of temporary setup up in my new Walden area. So here's my new humble little abode, and as you can see, I've moved a hero in here, the idea being that if parasites ever broke into this part, I could release the hero, and it would be a very temporary distraction. I have some crafting tables, furnace, iron chest, basic stuff, but if you've ever seen the Mr. Crayfish's gun mod, then you might recognize this gray thing here called the workbench. Yeah, that's right, I have a rifle and automatic rifle now, so cool. On my way back into the building, I encountered some haunted cows, which I quickly killed, and of course both of them ended up being infected by parasites, so I had to deal with the incomplete forms as well, but that wasn't too bad. I decided it was probably better if I came back to take on the thing in the morning, though, instead of at night where I was being followed by mobs, so I went back inside. I re-entered the building and got spooked by a haunted tool, which was not fun to say the least, and I made my way further into the building. There's also a lot of skulls in this place, which was mildly concerning. I also found this book that said there was something dangerous behind the locked door. Unfortunately, the floor there and the walls are kind of busted, so whatever was back there is probably loose, but you know, it's probably fine, just don't worry about it. Behind that door, I found this weird container thing that when you right-clicked it, it gave you these files of something, and it gave you a maximum of 3. I tried right-clicking them on the ground, and they just disappeared from my inventory and left these weird blue particles. Not sure what that was, but if anybody is familiar with this mod, then please let me know in the comments. Anyway, moving on, there was this weird little golem thing that immediately tried to attack me, so I tried to kill it, but unfortunately it was too tanky and had way too much HP for its own good, and I had to hide behind a wall for a little bit to regen my HP. And then these two random mobs just decided to jump out of the ceiling in the middle of the firefight and scare the daylights out of me before I blasted them. And then I killed the golem, but it was a parasite, so I had to kill it again. And there was like zero loot in the entire building, so I just left and got attacked by a raptor on the way out, and that was really the only notable thing that happened. I saw a mimic, not sure what mod it was from, but it didn't matter because I immediately blasted it, but this was enough to get me to go down onto the bridge again to check the loot drops, which was a mistake. I got hit with the status effect called anxiety, which basically, if you know what the nausea effect in Minecraft looks like, this was basically that times 100. It was terrible. I could not see anything. And then I walked down the stairs and just got randomly teleported, and I was like in full panic. I had no idea what was happening at this point. So I rushed back to my base as fast as I can. I decided that was enough action for one day, but I was still procrastinating doing the prep work that I actually needed to do for this episode, so I went in search of some vampirism stuff that I was literally never going to use this entire playthrough. But I have it now, so if you want to see that, then we can do that, because now I have all the gear for it. Anyway, that brings us to the thing that I actually wanted to do this episode, which was light up the roof of that one building I was in earlier, because I want to build something on it next episode. So yeah, I did that, and I also wanted to light up under the building because there was like a bajillion mobs. I mean, you can see the screen right now. It's way too much. I needed to light that up ASAP. So basically I lit up the underside of the building and I started getting some stuff ready for next episode as well, and it conveniently turned to phase 4 of the infection. Now what that means doesn't really matter too much. It basically just means there can be new parasite mobs spawning and they get stronger, but what it means for us is that we're going to have to speedrun the rest of the prep work next episode. So yeah, you'll also probably see a lot more parasites than you did this episode, and we're actually going to have to do some fighting, but that's for next episode. So like and subscribe if you want to see that, and I hope you enjoyed. See you next time.